welcome to School of Addiction. Today's topic is gamifying addiction recovery. And for those who are new to the channel, my name is Ashley Bloxham. I'm a therapist. I specialise in childhood and trauma, but I'm an addictions counsellor. I've overcame addiction, and I know what it's like to have a loved one who struggles in addiction. And I've studied it right the way up to PhD level, so I pretty much have a sound understanding of it. So today's topic is why gamifying addiction recovery can be helpful. So what do I mean by gamifying addiction recovery? It's this idea of setting up little wins that you can actually achieve. So I feel like in addiction recovery, we're constantly bracing for failure, or we're constantly like buckling up, like buckle up, buttercup. We've got a fight for another day, 1 minute at a time, 5 minutes at a time, 1 day at a time, and it just feels very exhausting. So counteract that, what we can do is start to gamify it and think, right, okay, we've got rid of this thing that's really holding us back. Because let's be real, if we are flooding our brains with excessive amount of dopamine, or we're getting intoxicated all the time, or whatever it is going to be making us perform at a much lower baseline than what we could perform at if it wasn't there. So let's reframe and say, right, I'm going to have all of this like motivation. I'm going to have all of this like fresh energy that I can use. What am I going to put it to? And I'm going to watch myself win at it. So just really small goals. Praise yourself every time you get the win. Set up another win. And just keep stacking upon each other. So instead, you're focusing on the winning instead of white knuckling. Because realistically, like, let's be real, addiction recovery is fucking solid. We don't need to make it any harder than what it is. Let's focus on the positive as much as possible and distract. Right. Hi, Eric. How you doing? Hi, Shrooms are good. How are you doing? I'm a little bit late today, so I don't know how many people are going to join. My son just did not want to go to sleep. He's pretending to be an alligator. I'm like, can you just bog off, please, and go to sleep? But hey ho, mom life. Yeah, so it's really good to have something to distract yourself with where there's guaranteed wins. And just because you're guaranteeing the wins by making them small doesn't mean that they're any less of a win. It just means we're being realistic about this. So this is what we call SMART goals in counselling training, which I can never bloody remember what the jargon stands for. I think it's like, basically, it's just a goal where you can measure it. It's small, it's achievable, it's reliable, and you've got a time frame on it as well. So just each day do a small goal, which is a win and something that you can progress in. So as you are coming out of addiction recovery, you're also going to be progressing in something else that you're putting your mind to. And let's be real, people who are in active addiction, we are good problem solvers. We can solve whatever it is that we need to get. We are the biggest hustlers in the world. We've got very good, proactive, geared up minds. Let's direct it to something which is a bit more positive. Eric, my experience with my recovery is quitting the drugs was the easy part. Dealing with my poor mental health that caused my use is the hard part. Absolutely. And look, I think this is a very real thing. You know, we talk about just removing the crutch. We talk about removing the self-medication, and we don't talk about what we're going to be left with. And, you know, as a therapist, this is a very real thing that we know about. But unfortunately, it's a bit of a catch-22, because if you deal with the root cause, so all research says there's a root cause. If you deal with the root cause before you deal with removing the addiction, you're opening Pandora's box, and that's more likely going to tip the person into using further and more problematic use, heavy use. If you remove the crutch and then you deal with the root cause, then you again making yourself susceptible to relapse. And the problem is you've got to deal with both. It's really hard to know how to navigate that. It's really difficult. And yeah, let's be real. It's like saying, I'm going to give you this painkiller to deal with this pain, and then the pain's fine. Then you remove the painkiller, and they're like, right, well, the pain's there, so you've got to deal with the pain. And also you're now dealing with the pain of removing the painkiller. So yeah, it's really tough, Eric. It is. And I think this is what everybody realistically has to deal with in addiction recovery, and the people who don't deal with it end up relapsing. And yeah, I wish there was some kind of like fancy answer I could give you, but it's the truth. And I think the only thing that you can do in this situation, I think, is try and stabilize yourself so that you can deal with the root causes. So by that, what I mean is try and work on things like work on regulations, so learn how to like just breathe and calm, and just get your nervous system to be something that you have a little bit of control over, so when you are dealing with this stuff it doesn't feel as explosive. But yeah, it's really shit, Eric. I'm sure anybody who's watching who's also came through addiction recovery, is that been your experience? I imagine it's been most people. So Eric said that you have to deal with the poor mental health that caused the addiction in the first place. I'd say, Eric, one thing the little bit of advice that I could give you on this is, one, it's normal. Two, the fact that you had the addiction, try and let go of any shame, because it was self-medicating, because the last thing you want to be dealing with is shame from the thing which was actually helping you survive whatever was causing it. And I would just say work on regulation, but just every day try and love yourself. Try and work out, how can I love myself? And if you love yourself enough and you build up your nervous system regulation, then dealing with the root cause will become a little bit easier. But yeah, it is shit. I've had to go through the same thing. I started having like flashbacks, dreams. I've had to face every one of my traumas head on, and it's been shit. Yeah. Vino, total 2,670 subscribers. Let's make 2,700 subscribers 1% plus, and we're happy. Like, subscribe all. Thank you, Vino. Yeah, my channel's flying thanks to you guys. I'm actually in the top 1% of new YouTubers, because you guys are fucking mint. So like I get about 25 to 35% ratio to viewers to comments, which like good amount is 3 to 5%. So you guys are mint. But yeah, sub would help as well if you haven't already. Eric, just so you know, you helped me today. Or Eric, thank you. I think sometimes like it's good to have tips and tricks, but I actually think the tips and tricks on addiction recovery are just a bit redundant. Like, they are great, they're helpful, but I try not to focus on them, because I think the reality of it is that addiction recovery is fucking hard. It's then dealing with all the shit that caused it, plus all the aftermath of the addiction recovery, and I just don't think there's any quick fix to it. And I think you can like do, what do you call it, craving surfing or all this shite, but realistically it's not really gonna make it easy. It's just fucking hard. But I just think, yeah, just keep pouring into yourself, keep loving yourself, and just remember, like, the addiction was the crutch, so don't shame yourself for that. That's the one thing that I would say. Has anyone got any tips for Eric dealing with dealing with all the shit that caused the addiction in the first place? I've just remembered something though that me and my friend were saying. So I had this particular friend. Sorry, I'm laughing, but we were finding it hilarious. It's not actually that funny. I had this particular friend who was like going to their family for support with their addiction, and their family were like shaming them for the addiction. And we were like, if there's one bit of advice we could give anyone to an addiction recovery, don't go to the people that caused the addiction in the first place. Like, his family, who were the root cause of his addiction, were like being absolute cunts to him. And we were like, yeah, maybe don't go to the people who caused the addiction in the first place. Sorry, that just popped in my head, but we were laughing. But I think laughing about it can be helpful, just trying to find the funny side and trying to think, right, okay, that was shit, we're going to deal with it, but let's try and like reframe it and just find amusing parts of it if you can. I saw this thing, I was trained in, I did this training, and it was about if we've had a traumatic experience, what you should try and do is reframe it. So sometimes what we do is we talk about the traumatic experience, and I've done this myself so many times. You keep talking about the same traumatic experience in a loop, and it stays the same in your brain, and actually you're just re-traumatizing yourself. And what is said you should do is talk about it, but try and come to a different conclusion at the end of it. So like ask yourself, like, how did I grow from that? How did that turn me into the person I am today? What's the silver lining in that situation? Is there a funny side to it? Is there a side where I can be grateful to that person because they made us who I am today? So try and reframe whatever it is, because then what that does is closes the loop in your brain, and just keep, every time it comes up, just keep trying to reframe it. So don't like diminish your experience, but try and end it on a different note, one where you feel empowered or in control. Or like, so an example of that might be, like, sorry, I'm whittering on here, so excuses for this, but I'm just thinking of like one of my own traumas. You hear a lot of people say you've got to forgive the perpetrator. I know you don't. But what I did is I had a perpetrator, and I was looping over this particular abuse that happened to us. And the way I reframed it was, right, okay, it is absolutely diabolical what happened to you, but the version of you who stood here today would not have let that happen. Like, you were so much stronger, so much more wiser, so much more boundaried, and also have a lethal punch on you. That would not have happened. So just reframing it, so that was then, it was shit, but now wouldn't stand for it. And I've got you, like, this version of me's got that version of me. So that might be helpful as well, Eric. Could we see your Hego face, please? What's a Hego? What is that? What is that? Play some table tennis, Tommy's saying. Yeah, anything where you can just distract yourself. Sporty's good, just something fun. Table tennis against yourself. Eric, way more helpful than the counsel I've been getting lately. Wow, really, thank you. Oh, do you know what it is? If your counselling isn't resonating with you, Eric, I would switch up for something different. As a counsellor, I would prefer, like, look, there's some clients who've came in and I know they're not we're not vibing. It's not, they're not picking up what I'm putting down. And like a decent counsellor should not take that personally if you want to change to somebody else. Yeah, you just, it sounds if you've been having weeks of counselling and somebody said something in a couple of sentences which has been more helpful, that sounds like there's a mismatch in you and your counsellor. Unless is it NHS counselling, like CBT? Because I do think as well that's not a good standalone counselling for the majority of people. Yada, you freak me out. Well, yeah, okay. Maybe don't come to the live. Unless you're like, it's like a horror film where you're like, kind of, I don't want to watch, but I need to watch. And it's like freaking us out, but I'm going to stick about anyways. Like a psychological thriller for you. Eric, sorry, not in a bad way. Oh, yeah, how can you freak someone out in a good way? Is there a good freak out? Like freaky baby. I don't even know the tune of that. So has anyone got any questions around addiction or mental health? Because there's not that many people on today, because I joined the party a little bit late. So if there's no questions around addiction or mental health, I'll just have an early night. Instead of just rabbiting on about shite tears. Vino, did I say that one? Oh no, yeah, I've already read that out. Right, I'll give it another couple of seconds, and then if not, I'll just end it there. We can have an early night. We don't need to go all in all the time. Mick the welder, hi from Australia. Hi to Australia. One of the humans I just got here, but I'll catch you next time. Oh, I'm not necessarily leaving. It's just there's only a few people on today and there's no questions. So I was just saying, if no one has any questions, I'll just leave it. But if someone's got questions, I'll stay. Darren, how are you doing? Have you been on before, Darren? I feel like I recognise your name, Darren Hawkes. You're talking things that home. Do you mean let it hit home? I think it's a bit one of those things though with addiction recovery, isn't it, where and mental health, like I think anybody, it doesn't matter, it's all different, but I think everyone can kind of, you know the vibe, isn't it? Menno, hi. Ashley, I'm Silva. I just want to say good night. Hi, Menno. Hi, Silva. Nice to see you again. A big hug and nuzzle from me. You're very cute, Silva. Mick, just found your channel, so I sub and see you again soon. Oh, thanks, Mick. Yeah, anyone giving us subs is really helpful. Yeah, sorry. I love you, Menno. Hey, pretty lady, I am light. Hi, how you doing? I am light. Yeah, I think it's the same. Like, I always have people like, I think it doesn't matter what addiction it is or whether you, so my addiction was, I was a functioning addict, and you always get like people like, oh, this one's worse or that one's worse, and this addiction recovery's the right way. And I think it's like, addiction's just shit across the board. We can all agree on that. We can all like kind of pick up what each other are putting down, because it's just pretty much the same. Mental health and addiction, pretty shit. We can all relate. But anyways, there's not many people on tonight, and I can see there's no questions around addiction and mental health. So I'm going to leave it at there for tonight. Just have a little short but sweet one. Sorry for turning up late tonight, guys. But I'll be back. What day is it today? Is it Monday? Is it only Monday? Surely not. Fucking hell. Feels later than Monday. Sorry, I've just realised I've still got a full week ahead of us. I'll be back on Wednesday at 10 a.m. and then 9 p.m. But yeah, if anyone hasn't given us a subscribe, that would be helpful. Bye, Eric. Love from America. Yeah, love to the US. Manchester scaffolders say hi. Hello again. How yous doing? Me little scuffies are back in the joint. Yada, honestly, you've near cured me. Well, yeah, I think you probably near cured yourself. If I'm saying something that's landing, that's because it's resonating, which means that's already inside of you. Because if I was saying something that wasn't resonating, it would just be like, no, thank you, distorted or denied. Anyways, I'll see you later, guys. Bye.